First of all, Neville did not bang his head on the wall by telling himself that I don't know what assumption of mine has caused this World War II, wherein 75 million people died. Do not make everyone is you pushed out about everyone. Make it about you, because they are you pushed out. Hi guys, my name is Akshay and I am a manifestation coach. All my contact info is in the description. Today we are going to talk about one of the most misunderstood, misinterpreted, controversial and possibly one of the most dangerous concepts in manifestation, and that concept is everyone is you pushed out. So I'm going to explain this in steps with real life examples. Please make sure that you watch the video till the end, because this concept can lead you to miraculous realizations, or it could take you into a rabbit hole which can cause you to freak out a little bit. Okay, so everyone is you pushed out is a very simple concept. It is an offshoot of the main concept in manifesting, in my opinion, which is persist in the assumption until it hardens into fact. Persist in the assumption until it hardens into fact. It is just an offshoot of this main philosophy of manifestation, that everyone is you pushed out. And I'm going to explain using an example of Neville Goddard himself, who was a great American mystic and a manifestation coach. So in 1943, Neville was drafted into the army for World War II. Okay, and he did not like it. He was in Louisiana and he did not like it. He wanted to go back to New York, but he did not want to be known as a coward or a deserter. He wanted to be honorably discharged from his services. So he filed an application and his commanding officer rejected it, because in the army, if you just keep honorably discharging people who do not wish to be a part of the war, then the other people think, am I foolish to stand here and take a bullet? If he got honorably discharged, then why can't I get honorably discharged? So they are very strict in the army with respect to honorable discharges. If they just allow everybody, every soldier to go home because they do not like this fight or war or whatever, then there will be nobody left to fight. So the commanding officer, he immediately rejected it. But Neville, in his mind, he persisted. He saw himself in his apartment over Washington Square in New York. And on his applications, he saw the words approved instead of rejected. And what happened was, he lived like this for 9 days. In his imagination, he persisted that he had been honorably discharged from the army. And he was with his wife in his living room, in his kitchen, in his apartment in New York over Washington Square. So that is what he did. And 9 days later, the officer summoned him and he told him, Neville, I don't like this, but for some reason, I feel like I should grant your application. And so the application was granted and Neville was honorably discharged from the army. So the thing is that when you persist in the assumption, everybody who needs to play their role to give you what you want automatically play their role, because you are persistent in your assumptions. So if you persist in the assumption that I have a very good job in so and so company, you are sort of becoming the person who is worthy or a vibrational match to that job. And those people will give it to you happily. I mean, the recruiters, the HR department of that company, they will grant you the job happily. If you assume that the SP loves you, then that person will love you happily. You don't have to take away their free will by force. Just by persisting in the assumption, by assuming that I am now loved and respected by this person, that person automatically conforms to that assumption. You don't have to apply this concept of he is me pushed out You don't have to worry too much about that. By assuming that I am a person who is very happy in my relationships. Relationships are easy. Love is easy. That is what you will encounter in your reality, in your world. One of the biggest mistakes that I have seen people make is that once they read in some Facebook group, okay, that everyone is you pushed out. The whole vast world is just your consciousness pushed out. And without really reading it, they just take this one, reading the book that this quote was from, they just take this one quote out of context. They took this one quote out of context and now they think that the whole vast world is my consciousness pushed out. So I created Corona. A few days ago, I got woken up at 4 a.m. in the morning by a girl. Okay, and she was shivering and shaking. Somebody in her family had passed away. And she said that, Akshay, I feel so bad. I don't know what assumption of mine caused this person to pass away. And I don't know how I created Corona. And that girl is very young. She's just 18 years old. So by misinterpreting this concept, she felt responsible for all the nonsense, all the bad things, the negative things, the undesirable occurrences in the world. No. That is not how we interpret everyone is you pushed out. The way to interpret it is to persist in the assumption until it hardens into fact, and everybody who needs to play their role to make that assumption a reality will play their role. I think that is the best way to use everyone is you pushed out, because my interpretation of the world is that it is like a huge supermarket wherein everything bad and good already exists. They are selling organic food, they are selling junk food, they are selling drugs, alcohol, weapons. All of these things already exist in the world. And the things that you experience in your reality are what are caused by your assumptions. Neville did not want to experience the war in his reality. He did not want to experience it. So, by persisting in the assumption that he has been honorably discharged, that is exactly what he encountered in his reality. First of all, Neville did not bang his head on the wall by telling himself that I don't know what assumption of mine has caused this World War II, wherein 75 million people died. 40 million civilians died during World War II. Neville probably, I'm not sure if he did that, he probably was not sitting there depressed, banging his head on the wall, blaming himself for causing World War II. It is something that he chose not to experience in his reality, and that is exactly what he encountered. Abdullah was from an impoverished state, Ethiopia, which unfortunately remains impoverished even today. But he managed to have a very comfortable life in New York. He was Jewish. Even though his name is Muslim, Abdullah was a Jewish rabbi. He did not create for so many Jews to be massacred by Hitler. That is something that existed in the world, and he probably did not blame himself that I am causing so many of my people to die. So if Neville and if everyone is you pushed out, you take it in a very literal and extreme sense, then Neville Goddard killed 75 million civilians and Abdullah also did that. I don't know whose consciousness was the whole world pushed out at that time. Okay, Abdullah massacred so many of his own people, Jewish people. No, the things that they encountered in their reality are what they are responsible for. Abdullah, even though he was from an impoverished state, he managed to have a comfortable life in New York. Even though he was black and there was tremendous discrimination against black people during those times in the USA, he was respected by everybody. People from all backgrounds, they flocked to him for advice. So he did not experience discrimination in his life. So you are not responsible for everything that is happening in the world just because you read in some Facebook group or in a book or somewhere that everyone is you pushed out, the whole wide world is your consciousness pushed out. No, you are not responsible for some poor little girl who got sexually abused on some continent that you haven't even set foot on. That is not the way we interpret everyone is you pushed out. We do not transform it into a totalitarian philosophy, because once you do that, it becomes a doctrine. My recommendation is to use everyone is you pushed out to create miraculous things in your reality, to manifest love, to manifest perfect health, to manifest abundance, wealth, happiness for you, your family. And another thing that I want to stress is that do not make everyone is you pushed out about everyone. Make it about you, because the life you are experiencing, you are the causation of that life. And for some reason, if you have experienced bad things in the past, do not start blaming yourself for those, because at that time you were not aware of conscious creation. Now that you are aware of it, work on your beliefs, your assumptions, your thoughts to create a beautiful life that you want to live, that you are proud of. So everyone is you pushed out. Do not interpret it in a very extreme way. Do not make it a doctrine. The world exists. Reality existed even before you and me. The world happened before probably you and me were born. So everything good and bad exists in this vast supermarket or multiverse or universe or whatever you want to call it. It exists. The things that you want to experience are the ones caused by your assumptions. And now that you are a conscious creator, the good things and especially the bad things in the past, do not blame yourself for having created those, because that thought process absolutely serves no purpose. It serves absolutely no purpose. So do not blame yourself if something bad happened in your past. Get over it and now create the life that you like, that you want. So the things that you are experiencing in your reality, if people are being disrespectful towards you, it is because you have an assumption that people are disrespectful towards me. If you change that assumption into I am now respected and valued by everyone, the way you will begin to see the world is different. You will program your reticular activation system, which is an antenna that picks up things in our environment. You will program it to perceive events wherein you are respected and valued, and slowly it will become a belief, an assumption, and in time it will become a firm assumption. And by changing yourself with respect to the world, you will sort of experience the world from a different perspective, a more conducive perspective. So I hope that this video resonated with you. I hope that I have cleared some deep misconceptions about everyone is you pushed out. I would like to sum it up again. Persist in the assumption until it hardens into fact. People will play their role. Don't worry about everyone. Worry about you, your beliefs, your thoughts, your assumptions. Do not make everyone is you pushed out about everyone. Make it about you, because they are you pushed out. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit share, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. Unleash the monster within you. And remember that if I said it, I already did it. Thank you.